I want to let you into one of the reasons why I feel so strongly about the way Suella Braverman is behaving and about the appalling treatment of people who have come to these shores and asked for asylum. Now, I'm very happy to concede that some of these people are not genuine, but we cannot know that until we've processed their paperwork. We cannot process their paperwork because we have such a backlog that is crying out for attention. And with Jacob Rees-Mogg's changes to the law, we're going to have even more of a backlog because more civil servants are going to be waylaid by these changes. We need more people working for the Home Office. It's as simple as that. Without dealing with the backlog, we cannot sort things out. Now, I promised I would explain why I'm so fired up by this. My partner came to Greece from Turkey, where my partner was tortured badly, and we took the case eventually through the European Court of Human Rights. It took 11 years, we won. And this was supposed to lead to a change in the law in Greece. It hasn't. What we've seen since then is people in the Coast Guard operating a sort of pushback system, literally they call it pushback, pushing refugees back into the sea to go back to where they came from. People have died. In the case of my partner's boat, the boat was riddled with bullets. The Greek Coast Guard shot at that boat. And the story is harrowing. I don't intend to go into all the details here. But Suella Braverman went to the detention centre, the holding centre, the 24-hour holding centre in Kent before she handed in her resignation over what she called a technicality. It was, in fact, a serious security breach, and apparently not the only one that she's responsible for. And she dealt with these people with contempt. She wasn't prepared to have them moved. It fell to her successor, Grant Shapps, to sort something out and put these people in hotels. Now, her tardiness, her contempt led to diphtheria and scabies, and I gather at least one incident of assault. That's one incident too many. This has parallels with what happened to my partner in Greece. And when we are holding people, whether we call it in detention or whatever we call it, so that they can then be processed when these people have appealed for asylum, we are under an obligation, any country is under an obligation to treat people fairly and humanely. And at the time, we turned to the British consulate and the British embassy for help. We turned to the Irish embassy for help, and in the end also the Turkish embassy, and all were very understanding and very helpful. And we assembled a huge pile of testimony. There were many people who were assaulted and abused in the detention centre in Crete, but only one person's case finally made it to the European Court of Human Rights because of the way people were bought off or simply exhausted by the time it took to take the case forward and by the obstacles placed in their way by the national government and by the system. We need to be more proactive, we need to be more sympathetic, and the simple assumption that all people who come across the channel or all people who come into our country are illegal, which is the system which is being peddled by things like Talk TV. I will deal with Jeremy Kyle later because I think he's particularly obnoxious, and I am very impressed that one of the new government ministers, who is there to support, I suspect, to keep an eye on Suella Braverman, was quite firm with Jeremy Kyle. As I say, I will talk about this in another video. But I just wanted to put it very firmly on record that this is why I am so firm about this issue. It is personal, and I think, therefore, that gives me a right, and in fact a duty, to talk about this subject. So I'd be very interested to hear your views, and I want to hear your views. But please don't spout the same rubbish about illegal immigrants, because I simply don't accept it. And get the legal definitions right. An illegal immigrant is somebody whose paperwork, who doesn't have paperwork, who hasn't claimed asylum, and who has been asked to leave this country and has failed to do so. Anybody who claims asylum is not an illegal immigrant. There is no such thing as an illegal route to this country if you are claiming asylum. That is firmly explained in the 1951 Refugee Convention and in the various documents which buttress onto that from 1967 and so on. If we want to start redefining who is legal and who is illegal, simply on the terms of how they arrive in this country, then we need to withdraw from that convention. Or we need to hold an international convention and redefine the 1951 convention. It may be time for that. There may be good arguments to redefine that convention because times have changed since 1951. But unless we are prepared to do that, and if we simply want to act on our own to redefine the law, the international law, then we put ourselves in the same position as President Putin puts himself. We are acting illegally as far as international law is concerned. I don't want to be party to that. I don't want my government to be indulging in that sort of nonsense. And I think somebody who claims to be a lawyer, who claims to be a barrister, should know better than to peddle the sort of rhetoric which Suella Braverman is peddling. It's dangerous rhetoric.